Good morning from a rather chilly Polytunnel in February. We had a bit of a frost last night and it got down to about -1 I think, and even with our heater on in the Polytunnel it still got down to -1 in the Polytunnel as well. Luckily none of the plants were damaged because the heater kind of kept the frost out of the air, if that makes any sense at all. I thought as I've got a bit of time this morning I would show you around the plot what I've been doing and sowing in January, and also what I'm going to be doing in February. So the main change this January is we've put this Polytunnel in. Very pleased with it. I've just got it off of Amazon for about 75 quid. It's a one house one, and what we've done is, I'll show you, is we put in, I put in a wooden frame the same size as the Polytunnel that goes all the way around, and that's staked into the ground on each corner, and the stakes go off at different angles. They don't all go straight down, they go up at different angles, so it's harder for the frame to pull up, if that makes sense. And the Polytunnel main frame is attached to that using cable ties all the way around. I'm probably going to add in some metal clips at some point as well. Outside the Polytunnel we've got a wooden frame that goes all the way around the outside, so the actual body of the Polytunnel, the plastic, is stapled all the way around to the wood frame that we anchor to the ground, and this wooden frame is attached on top of that and screwed through. This type of Polytunnel has a door which I really liked, but it didn't have a way of locking, so I attached this wood with a hinge, and that bolt goes across there so we can lock it of an evening, because we had some trouble with vandals in the sheds and stuff like that before. Now inside I've taken an old frame that we had that was just like a small greenhouse Polytunnel type thing, and I started making frames for the staging, and I've got some staging here, so I'm going to have another one of these over here, and you'll see I've started filling compost in. We got gifted some of these slabs, so I just put those down and added in some stones, and I think as the season goes on they should have what they believe they call thermal mass, so they should warm up in the daytime and release a little bit of their warmth in the evening. And having the Polytunnel means I can move on early with some veg. So I've got some very early peas that I've sown into this pot. You can see them there, and being in the Polytunnel they've quite enjoyed that. It gets up to about 25 degrees in the day, and I made a little frame there for them to grow up, and they'll stay in here the whole time and hopefully give me some really early peas. A lot of my seedlings, as soon as they popped up at home on the windowsill, I brought them straight down to the Polytunnel, so I wouldn't need to harden them off so much. Some of them still need thinning out. I've got some cos, some butterhead, 2 types of lettuce, some sprouts. You can tell the ones that have been on the windowsill the longest because they've gone leggy. This one came up in here and it's not gone leggy at all because it's had more light. I've got cauliflower that need to be thinned down, so I have 4 cauliflowers, and I've got some leeks coming up there, and also some broccoli that I'm going to probably either get into the beds quite early, or I'll keep them in here and just use them, keep them in here and grow them on in here. I've also got down here a pot of carrots. These are Amsterdam forcing. They're not coming up yet because I only brought them in here just the other day. They'll stay in here and I'll grow them in here. They'll stay in the pot. It's a big pot, it's a 25 litre pot, and when they're ready I'll just tip out the pot and use that compost somewhere else. I'll put some extra chicken pellets or something in there to give it a little bit more. And that's everything we've got in the Polytunnel. This year I'm going to do strawberries in hanging baskets, and they shall go all the way along, and when they flower I'll bring them out. I've also added this frame in the roof. I believe these are called crop bars, but these are just added. I bought some of this bracing material, put it over the top, tightened it up and put it in, so I'll be able to hang from here, but it also gives me a little bit of strength in the storms. We've survived one storm, but I've got another one coming, and my coffee's ready. So having this Polytunnel has meant I can sow things quite early, and I'm letting them harden off out here, so hopefully once it gets warm enough there's no risk of frost or anything like that. They'd have already had the strong sunlight, they'd have already had some colder temperatures, and they just need to get used to kind of the wind really, but I'll leave the the doors open when they need to get used to a bit of wind. I've been brushing my hand over the top of them so they'll firm up a little bit and harden up their stems. But it means that I can sow slightly earlier, but I don't want to sow too much too early. I've done some of those 25-litre pots of potatoes. They've been in for about a week and a half. And once they come through, they're at home, I'll bring those in here and do another couple of 25-litre pots of potatoes. I bought 10 25-litre pots this year for doing kind of very early carrots, very early potatoes, and then also very late potatoes as well. I'm going to do those in pots as well and try and get much more potatoes off of the plot this year. And in a moment I'll show you what's been going on outside the polytunnel. So outside the polytunnel things have been moving along. I've built pretty much all of the beds now, and it's all fenced in all the way around, and here I've built my brassica net. We realised that it probably wouldn't be enough for all of the brassicas that we have, so the bed beyond that is also going to be netted, and the way I've built that is I've made the wooden frame, and it's this bed, this bed, this bed and this bed nearly finished are all exactly the same size. So this frame here will just be able to be lifted off, put onto another bed the following year, so I can rotate. I've got a 4-year rotation plan. It's got a little door, so it's easy to go in, and everything's pretty snug, so it should keep out the pesky butterflies. Oh. And I've still got one side to put in. I've bought the net, but I haven't done it yet. So this bed is also going to be a brassica net, but it's going to be much lower down for stuff like turnips and stuff that's not as tall. And I'll make that so it will hinge, so the whole thing will fold open, and I'll be able to weed in amongst there. And of course this bed matches this bed and that bed and that bed, so I'll be able to move that around as well as I rotate. Over here the leeks have just started to bolt. I think there's over somewhere here I saw that they'd started throwing up. Yeah, there you go, they've just started to bolt, so they're all done now, and they're going to come up. They had a little spurt a few weeks back and really strengthened up a little bit. And I brought these over from my old plot, which is all the way down there, when we moved plots, because we had some vandalism in the shed. So I'm quite pleased that these have done okay, and these are all going to come up this week. This bed's been dug over. I've dug it over early, and I'll just keep hoeing it to make sure that I don't get any weeds. This bed also, these are both going to be for my potatoes this year. The shallots haven't really done that much so far this year. They're starting to show now, they're starting to come up now, and oh, my little sign's come off. There we go. So they're my shallots. They haven't done much this year yet, but they are starting to come up now. Over on my garlic, I did worry about these for a little while because they'd started to look a bit straggly, but now that we're getting a bit more sun, they're really starting to come along now. And also my elephant garlic starting to show through there as well. So I'm quite pleased about that. I'm probably going to, once they're up a little bit higher, I'm going to give them a bit of a mulch to stop them competing with any weeds and whatnot. And my onions so far this year, my overwintered onions haven't really done that much at all yet, but they're starting to come up now. This lot came up first. I think that you can tell where I've got one variety here and one variety here. This lot came up first. This lot are just starting to move now. So I'm hoping that they should start coming up soon. I'm thinking about growing some from seed in the polytunnel this year, but I'm not sure whether I will. And over here, the last thing I've got in here is my broad beans, which have done really well so far this year. These are overwintered. There are some gaps where some haven't come up. Maybe mice got them. I doubt it was mice, because mice would have probably taken a lot. But I've re-sown some that will go in there, and then it's going to be, these are going to be successional. So every 2 weeks, I'm going to do two more rows every couple of weeks, and then by the time I'm getting these ones ready, these ones can come out, and then I'll start back over here and make my way along. And my plan is this year to be much more successional with everything, so instead of having a glut of something, I can get everything done in one go. You may have seen on my first bit of the video that now my gate locks, my shed locks and my polytunnel locks, and that's because we have had some trouble with vandals before, so now everything locks, so I'm quite pleased about that. And that's about everything that's been going on in the plot this month. It's a quiet month, January. We are in February now, but they are quiet months. And it's nice to have a bit of time to just kind of sit on the plot, plan out what I'm going to do with the year, and just enjoy my time here really, before the craziness of the next few months starts and everything starts coming up and I'm planning out where everything's going to go. So that plan is all set at the moment, but plans often change. So we shall see what happens. And I'm very looking forward to a fun season with as much vegetables as possible.